news in the world of sports today. The Utah Jazz have just announced that their former head coach Jerry Sloan has died. He was 78. Jerry Sloan, the Hall of Fame basketball coach who spent a majority of his coaching career with the Utah Jazz and was a former NBA player with the Chicago Bulls, died on Friday. He was 78 years old. Sloan announced in 2016 that he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and Lewy body dementia, a terrible combination of a neurological disorder. Sloan said he decided to go public with the diagnosis because the symptoms were noticeable. He also told the Salt Lake Tribune he didn't want people feeling sorry for him. Sloan was one of the greatest coaches in NBA history, and when he retired, he was number 4 on the all-time winningest coach list with 1,221 victories among coaches with at least 500 games coached. He is ninth with a .603 winning percentage. He spent 23 years as the head coach of Utah Jazz, and Sloan and San Antonio's Greg Popovich are the only coaches in NBA history to win 1,000 games or more with just one team. In his 26 seasons, 3 with the Bulls, he had just 3 losing seasons and just 1 losing season in his 2+ decades with Utah. Late in the 2010-2011 season, citing the lack of energy, Sloan resigned even though the Jazz ownership and the front office tried to persuade him to finish out that season. Sloan guided the Jazz to consecutive playoff appearances in 13 seasons with at least 50 victories or more, including 64 victories in the 96-97 season and 62 victories in the 97-98 season. Coached by Sloan and led on by the power forward Karl Malone and point guard John Stockton, the Jazz won the Western Conference title both of those seasons, but they would lose to the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals both times. Sloan was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame as a coach in 2009. Being inducted into the Naismith National Basketball Hall of Fame is an achievement unsurpassed in my career, Sloan said as his induction ceremony. From my beginning in McLeansboro, Illinois, the game of basketball has introduced me to opportunities and life experiences I never dreamed of. He says I was a youngster, the youngest of 10 children, and raised by my mother on a farm which was located 16 miles from the nearest town. My father passed when I was 4 years old, and my older brothers and sisters had to take care of our family. They could not play basketball because they had to work. Unfortunately for me, he says my family was instrumental in my decision to play, and their support was unwavering. Jerry Sloan was born in McLeansboro in 1942, and Sloan went to elementary school in a one-room classroom, in a one-room school, and sometimes had to walk or hitchhike to high school basketball practice. Sloan became an all-state player in high school and played college basketball at Evansville. The Baltimore Bullets, which is a team that doesn't exist anymore, drafted Sloan in the 1965 draft with the number 4 overall pick, and then after one season, they traded him to the Chicago Bulls the following season, where he would finish out the next 10 years playing for them. With the Bulls, Sloan was a shooting guard and a small forward with a knack for defense. He averaged about 14 points a game and 7 rebounds a game in his 11-year career, and he was a 2-time All-Star and named the all-time defense team 4 times. After he retired from the NBA in 1976 at 34, Sloan took the head coaching job at his alma mater but withdrew from the position 5 days later. That season, the Evansville basketball team and coaching staff had all died in the plane crash. Sloan joined the Bulls as a scout and became a head coach for them in 1979. He spent 3 seasons with the Bulls and was fired after 51 games in the 81-82 season. He became an assistant with the Jazz in 85, and he became a head coach in 1988, taking over for Frank Latham. John Stockton was in his 5th season, and Malone in his 4th under Sloan. Stockton and Malone turned the Jazz into an annual playoff team. He demanded a lot, and he expected a lot. He held everybody accountable, Malone told reporters in 2014. I grew up the old school way with my grandmother and my mom. You hold that person accountable. You tell that person when they're screwing up, and you tell that person what he needs to do. That's how Coach was with me. Right after the bat, I knew I was dealing with the real person. Sloan, who often ate his pregame dinner in the media dining room alongside reporters, loved defense, but he had two offensive weapons in Stockton and Malone. They became a formidable, perfected the pick and roll. Malone is the NBA's 2nd all-time leading scorer, and Stockton is number 1 in all-time with assists, with 3,715 more than Jason Kidd at number 2. He was a genius, Stockton told reporters. You had to motivate guys without burying them. You had to credit them without egos running amok. Sloan was a no-nonsense coach who never strayed from his Midwestern farmers' values of hard work, dedication, and loyalty. And away from the game, Sloan loved to wear John Deere hats and collected antique tractors, furniture, old cash registers, and pottery. What you see is what you get, Malone said. That guy never changed in all these years with me. He never demanded respect. He earned it by who he was as a person and the way he treated you as a player. When Sloan retired, then NBA Commissioner David "Dumbass" Stern released a statement. Few people have epitomized all the positives of a team sport more than Jerry Sloan. The statement read, "A basketball life, Jerry was a relentless, was as relentless in his will to win on the sidelines for the Utah Jazz as he was as an NBA guard for the Chicago Bulls. In over 2 decades as a coach, he taught his players that nothing was more important than the team. You work together. His most impressive qualities were his leadership and his extraordinary ability to encourage his players to subjugate their individual games for the benefit of the whole. In 2017, a reunion for the 96-97 team, Sloan said, "I've always been lucky to stick around as long as I have. The organization has been more than fair to me and my family." Yep, it's sad. I always liked him as a coach. He was good. But now, may he rest in peace, sir.